Now, when we're talking about traffic through content, or when we're talking about content creation in general, there's content that's on the website, the destination content, and there's content that drives people to the website, so the traffic content. Now, when you're talking about videos on YouTube, videos on Vimeo, videos on all these other sites, unless it's embedded on the site, to me that's traffic generation video. It's video marketing. So what would you suggest would be the format if ultimately we want to get them to our site? What's the format in the video that gives them something and then lures them to our site?
There is a standard format, but there is nothing set in stone. And I'm going to give you an example of my best performing video and explain why it broke almost every norm and still did exactly what I needed. So I was creating a product on affiliate marketing, and I was not a well-known affiliate marketer. I was an SEO guy / traffic guy. Right. So I created a couple of YouTube videos showing my brilliance. They were 5 to 9 minutes long, which this is 7 years ago. So the standard that was being taught at the time is you don't want to go longer than 3 minutes.
Right.
However, Google was measuring very specific things to get videos to rank. The main one was bounce rate. What a bounce rate is basically how long someone sticks through your content. So if it's an article, it's however long someone takes to read to the end. If your bounce rate is very high, meaning people stay for 2 seconds and then leave, Google will actually drop the ranking of a specific page or a piece of content, and specifically videos. My best performing video was 9.5 minutes long. It was just under 10 minutes because that was YouTube's time limit at the time.
Right.
It, for 6 months, ranked #1 for affiliate marketing in Google.
Wow. Okay.
For 4 years, it ranked #1 for how to set up a blog.
Huh.
That was completely organic. I built no links to it. It was all viral traffic because I provided value. And, most importantly, there was no call to action. I didn't tell them to go anywhere. So
really?
once I saw that I had like 10,000 views and it was my best performing video, just from digging through statistics and looking at my YouTube channel, I threw in a link to a product. And again, in the video, I did not say, look below, go ahead and click that link. So my click-through rate was really low. We're talking 1 out of about 100 views.
Okay.
1 out of 3 bought it.
Wow. That's crazy.
And it was not the affiliate marketing product. It was actually my first software. Sold like crazy. 1 out of 3, a 33% conversion rate for those that actually went and found the link because I didn't tell them about it. What happened was, now think about the psychology behind this. They loved that video so much and what I showed them that I could have sold them grown-up diapers and some of them would have bought it. It didn't matter that the product was completely different. Literally 1 out of 3 bought that product. So back to your original question, I'm able to speak a little bit now without hacking my brains out.
Okay, good.
There is no set standard. However, there are some things to consider. #1, you lose roughly 10% of your audience every 30 seconds in length of your video.
Okay.
That can go up and down. That's an average. And that's a very loose estimate. I actually have data for that, but I don't have it in front of me, so I can't quote it.
Okay.
So the longer your video, the higher the likelihood of you losing people. And remember, that bounce rate is important, so you want people to stick and actually watch your video all the way through. Whatever the length is, that makes no difference. It could be 2 minutes, it could be 10. If they stay till the end, that is a huge boost to the amount of traffic Google will be willing to show to your video.
Right.
Then there's the call to action. This is actually a situation you have to think about very carefully. Outside of the Super Bowl, how often do you see commercials spread around?
How often do people actually share the commercial and say this is really cool?
Unless it's really virally designed.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times, but rarely, yeah.
Exactly. So if you make a commercial, it's not going to get spread around unless you do something awesome like the banned tampon commercial where the girl gets eaten by a shark. That's going to get spread around. Okay? Unless you have that kind of budget, we're talking $100,000. It ain't happening, guys. So keep your calls to action. You know what? Test it. Make a version with a call to action, make one without, and see which one performs. Because if your content's good enough, it's going to have them sold, and when the people go and look for what you have for sale, they're just going to buy your stuff because you're that awesome. So, again, all these things
but somewhere on the screen there should be a link. Like, for instance, right below my name here, it says performinsider.com. So technically anyone who is watching this and they like it, they can go to that website and see more, right? So somewhere you want there to be a website where they can go?
Always you want there to be a website they can go. But if you don't have the ability to do a lower third, I'm a weirdo. I actually went on YouTube and looked for how to make a lower third, and then I got Photoshop, and then I learned how to make them, and I did. More often than not, I don't use them. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. That means that's my preference. I just put the link in the description and have it be the first thing they see. So hopefully they open that in a new window while they're watching the video or after they watch the video. And I still test using a call to action and not using a call to action to see what performs better. Because you know what? No matter how smart we think we are, our audience is smarter. Let them tell you what they want. So give them options. You know, that people ask me, what's the best type of content? The one your audience wants.
Okay.
Is it silly to have a podcast up on the Apple Store? I don't know. They're probably the best customers you could possibly have. You should probably have a podcast if you can get the few things together to create one.
Right.
So, anyway.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. So let's go to the so-called free traffic. And you talked at the beginning about you thought that if you build it, they will come. And I can't tell you how many people I have run into over the years who thought, hey, I'll just put up a website and the traffic will come. And it doesn't. So what exactly, and the problem with SEO is it changes all the time. Google changes their algorithms all the time. There's different things where people can be ranking on the first page, #1, and then all of a sudden they're not found in the search at all. So what are the secrets these days for actually ranking using SEO?
It's the same secret that I've been telling people for 5-6 years. Now, I was known as an SEO guy. I've departed from that. I refuse to do SEO. I will not fight Google anymore. They will always win. They are far bigger than I will ever be. And I won't take on an SEO client. I do marketing consulting for a very large amount of money. I will set down a marketing path, a content marketing path for a company, but I will never do SEO again. The simple truth is Google is going to change their algorithm along the lines of common sense. And they will always change it. They will always tweak it. Whatever works today will not work 6 months from now, period. So what I've reverted to doing is putting my content everywhere I can and linking strategically. And this is something I'll explain because it's probably the most in-depth SEO training I'll ever do. I refuse to teach people SEO anymore. The last updates that Google made devalued keyword-rich anchor text links. Okay, so now I've got to go through and explain what all those things are. So the keyword-rich would be using the words that you want to rank for in the actual link text on other people's websites and content sites, linking back to your own. So that's now considered link spam.
That's what we call the off-page SEO.
Correct. Correct. And that's how I did SEO for many years. So I'm sure you can figure I got hit really hard with these recent updates over the last 6 months. So what I now do is whenever I link to my website, I use very generic terms. So if it's ross-goldberg.com, which is my main blog, that's going to be the words that I use to actually link back to my website.
Okay.
ross-goldberg.com or Ross Goldberg, because that's the actual domain name, or I'll use what's called a naked link, and you can make that clickable with specific HTML code. You can look that up. But a naked link is the actual http://domain.com.
Right,
So
okay, got it.
what those are generic links. You can't get in trouble for those generally.
Okay.
that's at least 75% of the links pointing to my website. And every now and then I'll throw in, especially if I know it's a really high authority website, I'll throw in my keywords, but very, very rarely. And the secret now is Google, with Google devaluing the anchor text links, they've upped the value of on-page stuff. So the file name of the actual page, the title tag, bolding the keyword term you want to rank for inside the text. Obviously, you want it to look nice. That's probably even more important than these things. However, the on-page stuff is way more important than it was before because Google devalued the power of the words that we use in the links we build. So that's how I'm doing it now, and I'm kind of letting SEO happen as like a sideline thing that just happens. I'm just marketing my businesses now and putting the word out, making sure if people are looking for a problem that my product solves, that they find me. It's the library concept that I was mentioning before. I think of every content-based website as a library, and I want to have my book there. My content, my training, I'm trying to think of the right word, my bait. That was the word I was looking for. I want my bait in every library that pulls people back to my website. So that's what I'm doing for my sites.